Hi, this is Warren Chang here. Um, I'm going to do a demonstration today of an oil wash, study of a head in oil wash. I've chosen a photograph of a sculptural head because that way we'll see the head sculpturally and not get distracted by describing the beard and mustache as if it's a separate element. We should see the head in its entirety as if it's a piece of sculpture, as it is. So that's the reason for it. Okay, so let's get started. What I've done, I'm going to do a monochromatic wash, and what I'm creating here, I'm using essentially a umber. I think the best choices for underpaintings are either raw umber or burnt umber. And in this case, I'm using burnt umber, but I added just a touch of terra rosa, which is a reddish color, to give it more warmth. It'll be more red, but it'll also be a little bit more opaque. I'll be applying the oil wash in this instance more dry than wet. And essentially this technique is the exact same approach if you did a more complex underpainting for a narrative picture. Okay, so let's get started. I'll show you a little bit of the color I'm about to use. And maybe map out a general shape of the head using primarily straight lines. And I'm working really lightly because I don't really want to, because we don't really want to commit too much at this point. So I just want to give a general outline of what the head is. Shape, the size and shape. Using straight lines, just sort of blocking it in, the overall shape. So I kind of have an idea of where I'll be placing, where the head's being placed and so on. So this is the general shape of the head. Now whether it's actually going to fall into these exact proportions is up to chance in a way. It may be smaller, it may be bigger. I think you want to start off the head by mapping out, for instance, which is very important, whether you're working from life or working from this sculpture, to start with the center of the head. So I do a straight line of the center of the head, which immediately establishes the gesture and angle of the head. I can't draw a straight line very well, so don't worry if you can't either. So based on that first straight line, that should establish the angle of the head. And then we want to go horizontal in establishing like the line of the brow. And I'm trying to draw lightly, or should I say paint lightly, and maybe just roughly block in the eye sockets. And we'll be getting it more accurate at a later time. So this is all subject to change, just to get started. Always relate one side to the other, so the line of the brow on one side should relate to the other side rhythmically. Okay, I'm just basically mapping this out. So I'm basically just trying to draw the shadow shapes We'll nail that down in just a moment. Think about the side plane of the nose, how it relates to the other side, even though I'm not going to put it down, I'm just sort of mapping it out so I understand. And the method here would be exactly the same if we were painting from life. It's a lot easier to work from a photograph because it's already translated into 2 dimensions. So what I'm going to do, what I would like you to do similarly is to ignore reflected light. We're just going to simplify and first just start off with, actually start off with only the shapes of the shadows and envision the shadows in just one value. So what will happen ultimately is what will create the form will not be the detail in the shadows, but just the shape of the shadows and how you determine the edge of those shadows, which is rather a form shadow for a soft edge or a cast shadow for a sharper edge for the cast shadow. And the edges, handling of the edges alone should achieve the form to be created. So anyways, I'm going to be a little quiet and concentrate a little more here. Drawing the beard. Of course, I'm doing this very lightly at this stage. Mainly working in straight lines. A curve can be described in a series of straight lines. Okay. I'm painting, I'm laying down the paint very lightly. In fact, you may not even be able to see this as well as I do, because I'm not ready to commit fully. You can't see my palette, but I'm only using one color, so it's not that essential. Okay, so now the head scarf. Okay. So I think I've pretty much mapped it all in enough that I feel comfortable to now start being more defined. I'm using a number 2 bright at this moment. So now that I've got it mapped out, I'm going to start defining the features, the shadow shapes of the features, should I say. And I'll Okay. I could keep tweaking this probably for another hour if I had the time. But I think you get the idea. And, you know, the main thing is see it in shadow shapes. In the shapes is the key to the accuracy and the likeness of the head. And the handling of the edges, where there's you can see where I sharpened the cast shadows, which really brought out the form, because that automatically, in contrast, softens the form shadows. So, okay, thank you for watching, and almost finished. And I think I could keep tweaking this. This is identical, pretty much identical, if the approach as if I were working from the live model. Okay, so I think that's it for now. Thanks for watching.